Hey you guys, it's Heather Wilson Smith here, the Happy DIYer, and today we are going to make these super cute little shelf sitters. How precious are these? These are made with just little blocks of wood, a couple of little transfers. Actually, it's one big transfer. It's our Halloween cut apart transfer. It's $14.99 and you can get it on my website. But it has 12 really cool pieces that you can cut up and create really fun things with it. But I've already created these two here. So I'm going to show you how it's done. Alright, now before we get started, I want to go over a lot of the little ingredients, supplies that we need. First of all, we are going to need a little block of wood. Just a little block. It's probably, let's see, let's measure it. It is about 2.5 inches by 2.5 inch square. That's what size this is. And our little transfer is going to go right on top of that. So you just need a plain little block of wood. You need a couple of sandpaper grits. So we are going to use a 150 sandpaper grit and a 100 sandpaper grit. Now, fun fact. Do you know why these have different numbers? The number of the sandpaper grit indicates the size of the grain of sand. What? The higher the number, the smaller the grain of sand. Very cool, right? Okay, fun fact. All right, we also need a couple of paint colors. Now, these I wanted to be kind of modern farmhouse, right? So I did a little black, gray, and white. And I'm going to show you the process of that. We also need a little bit of felt for the back. I put a little felt here. It just makes it a little bit more finished and really cute, right? And I put ribbon on it, so the felt also kind of covers up the raw edges of that ribbon. On this one, you can see that I didn't cover the back. I'm going to put a little square felt there, but we also did a little felt bow. Now I cut this out with my Cricut. But you can cut it out with your scissors. Now the cut file is going to be inside my customer community group. So if you would like to have the cut file for free, just click, you can type #group in the comments or click to join my group. It is called the Happy DIYer with Heather Wilson Smith, and you will be able to find this free cut file so you can cut out a little bow. Right? Okay, so let's get started. Oh, we also need a little bit of chalk paste, right? Because that's what our design is made from. And we need some wipes. I'm using Clorox disinfectant wipes because that's what I have on hand, but you could use baby wipes for this. The technique that we are using for the wood here is going to be a wipe technique. All right, so you ready? Let's get started. The first thing you want to do is take your little block of wood and you just want to clean up some of these edges. I'm probably going to use this side. And then you just want to take the roughest sandpaper. This is the one with the lowest amount, right? And you just want to sand off those edges to make it kind of clean. And you want to round those edges up because, you know, it's a really kind of a square, right there. So we want to round that up a little bit just to kind of make it look a little bit more farmhouse and a little bit more modern. And then we're just going to do that all the way around the edge. Do the corners really good. You can see how those corners are really roughen up and kind of, I don't know if you can see it, but it's kind of rounding a little bit. And then there's two sides of the wood that you're really going to want to kind of sand a little bit so you can get that paint into those little nooks and crannies. This is probably the hardest part, and it's not even that hard. It just takes a little time. You could probably do this better with an actual sander in your hands, but we are indoor crafting, and I'm not going to use my sander indoors, although you could, I guess. And so that's it. You just want to go around all the edges and make sure everything is good and rounded. No sharp edges. Just like that. See? It's kind of rounded on the corners. Okay. Now we're going to get rid of this mess. Put this up for now. You're done with it for now. Okay, now what we're going to do is we are going to take a dry brush, just like this. We're not even going to wet it, okay? We're just going to get one of these. Let's get this one. This one right here, okay? And we're going to get a little bit of black. So the way that I like to do these is I like to layer this paint. The black that you see on this is the most bottom layer. We want that to just peek through slightly. So we're going to use a little, because a little black, it goes a long way. So we're just going to pop it on the edges, kind of wipe it off. This is a dry brush, so we're just going to, you can tell we didn't even get that much. We didn't even get that much. Okay, now it ought to work. There we go. So we're just going to take it and we're going to go around these edges. Now remember, when you're creating things, things don't look as great as it's going to when it's done. Right? So that's the front. We're going to go around the sides here with a little bit of this black. We're going to just wipe it off. This is a dry brush. And we're just going to go around. Because we're doing small layers, you don't really have to worry about, I mean, it's a dry brush technique, so this paint is not wet. It's not sitting on here wet. See, it's already dry, okay? So that's what we're going to do there, and we're going to get our other paint ready because this is a layering technique, right? Doesn't look that great right now, does it? Okay. Now, we're going to take our gray. Now comes the wiping. We're going to grab one of our little wipes just like this. I'm going to squeeze out some of the goodie in it, okay? And then we are going to just kind of put it up in a little ball, grab some of this, and just do it kind of like that, right? Now the wetness that is still in here is going to help this paint flow, okay? So all we're going to do is just rub it just like this. Rub it on there. We're going to do several layers, so don't worry about trying to get it all to cover in one layer. That's not how it works, okay? Done, just like that. We're going to let this dry a little bit. It's pretty much already dry. And because we're covering the back of it with felt, we really don't need to do much there, okay? All right. All right, we're good. We're going to take another little layer and rub it on there. So you can see that it's getting a little darker with each little layer that you're putting on it. Just like that. Just like that. And just like that. Done! Okay, we're done with the gray. We're going to throw this away. We don't need it anymore. And we're going to tighten up this gray right here and get ready for the white. Now the white is simply just going to brighten it up a little bit, because this is how this one looked. And then with the white on it, it's going to brighten it up a little, just a little bit. We've got it still a little wet here. Okay. Now, what I like to do before we go with the white is we want to take this little sandpaper. This is the 150 grain. Remember we said the higher of the grain, the smaller the density, right? The smaller of the actual sand that's on the sandpaper. So what we're going to do is we're going to sand the edges. What we're going to try to do is blend this black a little bit so that it looks a little bit more blendy instead of kind of stark. You can kind of see that it's a little stark here and a little stark here. So what we're going to do is take this and just sand it a little bit. Now this is still wet. Wet sanding is amazing. When you can sand something and it's wet. Woo, look at that. So what you're doing is when you're sanding, you're bringing out some of that color on the bottom. That black kind of stands out a little bit more. It kind of blends in and makes everything look just delicious. And then we're going to sand that just a little. And then right over here, it's kind of dark there, so we're just going to sand that just a notch. And you can kind of see how it has blended a little bit. Now, let's add the white. The white we are going to do just like we did the gray. We're going to grab another one of these, squeeze out some of the goodie in it, because we don't need all that, right? And then we're just going to have a little bit of this, pop a little bit on our thing, and go for it. It just brightens everything up a bit, helps it look a little bit more modern and less dark. Just like that. Done. So cute. Okay, there we go. That is all you have to do to make the little block ready for chalking. So easy, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use this transfer. Yes, this is still a little wet. It's totally okay. We've got this little transfer, super new transfer. I'm just going to put it on my shirt a minute, and we're just going to pop it right on this. Make sure that screen is down. Go ahead and open our chalk paste. Take a little bit. Oh, this needs stirring. But we're just going to go ahead and go for it because that's how we roll. Done. Just like that. Take off the excess. Pull this transfer up and done, you guys. Look how cute. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we have already got everything done here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this ribbon and we are going to hot glue it to the bag. You can see that Chandra has joined us. She loves when I get the ribbon out. Okay, so I'm going to run over. So I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. I'm going to run over and we're going to hot glue. No. This right here. Okay? Okay, so here we are back. And so now you can see that I have the ribbon here. We have hot glued it right to the back right here. We have some little hot glue hairs right there. So we're going to move this so that is completely even. Yep, that looks perfect. Okay, next step is taking our felt. We're going to, this is the cleanest side here. Okay, we're going to take this felt and we're going to put it right over the back here. So it's going to cover up these raw edges and make everything look really good and tidy. Okay? Okay, so now you can see that I have hot glued the back. I've got hot glue all over the back. And I really tried to focus just kind of, I came in a little bit with my hot glue and did it right along the edges, leaving a little bit of a lip here. And the reason I did that is so that I can take my scissors here and cut along those edges. So you can kind of see there's a little lip, right? So what we're going to do is, since we have a little lip area here, we're just going to line up our scissors and make sure that we cut that. You know, you just want it to be kind of even and flush with the wood. And you couldn't do that if you had hot glued the whole piece down. So what we'll do after we have tightened up all these little areas around the side here is we are going to, that's when we'll come around the edge and secure that edge. And then that's all we'll do now. We'll just come around with a little bit of hot glue and then tighten up those edges. Okay, so here we go. Isn't that so cute? So you can see that at the top you have a little bit of the hot glue beading up. That's totally fine. Once it's dry, you can cut it. You can't cut it right now, you're going to get those little glue hairs all over the place. So now everything is good and secure, so you can't lift up any of the edges. So you can store this really well. And it sits really well, so it'll sit like these. I'll have them all sitting up, and I'll have a little photo so you can see. But how super cute are they? I love them so much. Now remember, if you want the cut file for this little bow, you are going to have to become a member of my free community group. It's called the Happy DIYer with Heather Wilson Smith. And if you want more information about Chalk Couture and the transfers that I used for these projects today, let me know. I would love to have you join my team, and you can make and sell these amazing little things. Yeah, how cool. Okay, you guys, I will talk to you soon. Bye.